Good evening, everybody. I'm Liz, and this is our Health for Life group. And we are doing a team call tonight about the Blue Ridge Boot Camp. This happens every year in July, and so we're excited to share what we learned. And we're going to start with what I learned, and then we'll have four other people sharing too. So looking forward to it. And we'll post this recording on our YouTube channel. Okay, so this is a shot of the mountains at Blue Ridge Boot Camp. It is a beautiful venue in North Georgia. It's about 2 hours from Atlanta, so very convenient. And I'm going to talk about this woman. She's an NMD from Missouri. Her name is Jeanette Votruba. And she said this quote, "Once you give me heat, I will give you wood." And she talked a lot about how a lot of times people have expectations that they're going to get something out of the business right away. And she's like, it doesn't really work like that. Like you don't expect a fire before you put wood in to, make a fireplace become a fire. And so she talked a lot about not giving up. At first, there's a lot of effort that goes into starting your business. And you may not make that much money. You may not see as many results right away, but to stay with it. And she talked a lot about the importance of qualifying business. And this is my goal that I'm working on. And she talked about how when you have a qualified business, you really lead the way for your team members and set the example. You really work on leveraging the efforts of others, and being able to make a strong team is all about teamwork in that. You also hit the jackpot / magic, which is getting the 5% of your sales profits. And as your team continues to grow, that does become a substantial part of your income. And then she talked about duplicating clubs. And so when you qualify your business and then you teach others to qualify, then that's when you can really you work in more of a duplication system, and not addition. And so it was really helpful for me to understand more about that. And I think some of the other slides are going to go into more detail on that too. And then this was from Jennifer Stifler. She was another speaker at Blue Ridge Boot Camp, and she talked about 3 really good high-paying activities. And so we've talked a lot about this as a team: 3-way connection calls, then virtual and in-home events, and also inviting people to live events and bigger live events where they would be exposed to leaders in the company, as well as sometimes even there'll be people in corporate that come to these events too, especially at national. There's a ton, all of corporates at national. And she talked about people on your chicken list. And I think most of y'all know the chicken list, but I'm going to explain that it's people that are would really be like a dream team member, and getting them to these live events and them to really learn more about the company, see the big picture, and to see also the culture. And then I really liked this, what Jen shared too. Oh, let me go back. Clarity. No clarity, no growth, no goal. Oh, wow. Sorry. I was trying to get that bottom part down there. Okay. I think I can still see that there. No clarity, no change, no goals, no growth, and clarity equals confidence. And so really being clear on what it is that your goals are, but then also what are those daily activities that I need to be doing to reach those goals. And so Blue Ridge Boot Camp just helped to kind of crystallize that and kind of get that in my mind, and also how to apply that in really being able to reach my goals. So, and next we'll have Jennifer sharing.
Hey guys. So this was my second boot camp, and I've been to 3 conferences, and it's interesting because at each event like this, you kind of hear a lot of the same information, but it's presented in different ways. And it's really interesting how you maybe have heard something before, but it didn't resonate with you the exact same way as maybe it did the time before. So this particular boot camp, what really resonated with me was how there's different things that I can do to be helping and empowering my team. So a lot of, well, in fact, the whole weekend, everything that was said, it trickled into me as part of my, not necessarily what I can do for myself or for my personal business, but what I can do for my team. And I don't know if that was because I actually had a couple of people with me this time, or if I was just more aware, but those were the 2 of the 3 things that resonated mostly with me. The first thing, though, however, I believe it was Dawn Rathman. I went back to try to find her where she said this, could not locate it. But she did, someone said this, and I'm not totally positive it was her, but after she said it, this picture is me. I sat there for probably 15 minutes with looking just like that. You can ask Rebecca. I did. I look like this picture because she said, of course, we all hear this all the time, just to be smarter about social media. Well, she said something that made me go, wait, what? Like, will that really work? And so what she said was to post a question on your, now she said Facebook, but I think it probably would work with most anything, but they're basically using the Facebook algorithm to justify or to come up with the idea behind this, to post a question that is interest generating, not necessarily about Juice Plus, just about anything. And then what that does is that generates interest on your page. And then the next day, about the same time, come back and post something about Juice Plus, and more people will have seen that post. So I tested it. I don't really know. I mean, I'm not, what do you call those people that do statistics? I'm not a statistician, but I posted a picture. I mean, I posted a interest generating post on Facebook last week. Some of y'all helped me out with it. Didn't even realize that you did.
I was just commenting
about facial
best moisturizer.
And I had 39 comments and a couple of likes. And so I'm thinking, okay, if 39 people took the time to comment, how many people actually saw it? And then, then other people were hearting it or thumbs upping it. And then, so I'm thinking the next day, how many people are going to see it? Well, you don't really know because I didn't ask a question. I just presented information, but I did get an order out of it. So I don't really know about how they come up with that information, but that is, it kind of makes sense because that whole, 26 people see your same old stuff over and over again. But if you generate more interest and more people looking at your page, how many more people can you reach if you do that? And then the next day post something health related. The second thing you can click. Yeah. The second thing was by Wendy Vance, and she talked about team building with events, but something else she focused on was celebrating. And that's something that I really want to do in my team especially is like success leaves clues, follow your mentors. I've started noticing more and more people putting, so-and-so's has started investing in their health by ordering gummies, or so-and-so, and we've always done this about promotions, but I'm going to take it even further than that with mine. And I'm going to, be celebrating, not necessarily on the wide open, but just individually even, just being more mindful of what's going on with everybody's life. And that's just part of customer care. Celebrate all good things, not just teammates, but upline, downline, sidelines, and customers and potential customers. This is part of good customer care. And so that's another thing that I'm going to start doing more of is, so I don't want to drive y'all nuts with it, but y'all may be seeing me celebrating a whole lot of stuff. So just FYI. Okay, the next one. The last speaker, Dr. Michael Ewald, touched on this, as did Stephanie and Clayton Getz, about inspiring courage. And basically, you just got to get over yourself. And this just kind of hit home with me because, I got to get over myself. I've got to get over myself because what's so fabulous about me? Nothing. And I got to get out of my own way. I'm just tripping over myself, causing more issues for myself by getting in my own way. And I've got to get out of my teammates' way. I've got to get out of y'all's way. I've got to believe in myself and believe in my teammates. And I've got to get to the point where realizing that failure is just part of it. And I know that. And I've grown up my whole life. I've spent trying to make everything perfect for everybody. And that's just impossible. And it creates probably more problems than it really is worth. And so I'm so sorry if I've done that to you. But, failure is part of life. And Winston Churchill said it, success is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. And then no one other better than Will Smith said it even better. If you'll click on, is it going to pull up?
Yeah, let me see if I can get it. Yeah, sorry, I didn't have this ready, but I can just copy it real quick.
But we've all got to be okay with failing, and we've got to embrace it, and we've got to be like, what am I going to learn from this? What did I do wrong? Or what did I not necessarily do wrong, but what could I have done better to reap the benefits of the so-called failure? Well, I hear him.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Fail often, fail forward. It's always a little bit frustrating to me when people have
Just start it over real quick.
fail often, fail forward. It's always a little bit frustrating to me when people have a negative relationship with failure. Failure is a massive part of being able to be successful. You have to get comfortable with failure. You have to actually seek failure. Failure is where all of the lessons are. When you go to the gym and you work out, you're actually seeking your muscles to the point where you get to failure, because that's where the adaptation is. That's where growth is. Successful people fail a lot. They fail a whole lot more than they succeed. They extract the lessons from the failure, and they use the energy, and they use the wisdom to come around to the next phase of success. You gotta take a shot. You have to live at the edge of your capabilities. You gotta live where you're almost certain you're gonna fail. For practice is controlled failure. Getting to your limit. You can't lift that. You can't do that. Until you get to the point that all of a sudden your body makes the adjustment, and then you can do it. Failure actually helps you recognize the areas where you need to evolve. So fail early, fail often, fail forward.
Mic drop.
That's great. That's really good. Thank you. Oh, let me get, there we go. Thank you for that, Jennifer. Anything else you want to share? Jennifer, you good?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was great. Okay, next we'll have Melissa.
Hey y'all, so this was my second boot camp. I've been doing the business for a year now, and I have definitely found value in boot camps. Originally, I wasn't all on board because life is busy and it costs money and all of that, but I fully get the benefits of boot camp now with the relationships, being able to stay in an amazing cabin or in the hotel, whatever it is, just to be able to team bond and have girlfriends and people gather around that are like-minded. So it's definitely a game changer, and it's helped my business tremendously. Clayton and Stephanie Getz, they were adorable. I friended them immediately on Facebook. I might have friended everybody that spoke on Facebook, but I want to follow them, and I want to watch them, and I want to learn and continue to grow from them. So I just felt like that was something I wanted to do. So one of the things they talked about was what kind of team am I looking for? And for me, I have a lot of people on my team, and it, wasn't even on purpose, honestly, but getting on purpose when I'm looking at a team, what am I looking for? So I'm looking for coachable, teachable, positive, outgoing, love people, passionate. I'm basically looking for another me. And I know the people are out there. I know that those are the kind of people that I want to attract and be attractive to. Duplicating myself. Am I walking the walk? And she talked about that will attract the right people. So that's really important to me as I'm growing up my team and encouraging people on my team. They also said we're in business for ourselves, but we're never by ourselves. I love that. And I am definitely in the business of collecting amazing people in my life. I'm a firm believer in that. People to lift me up and people that can encourage me and vice versa. So that really spoke volumes to me. The pictures on this side, I collect hearts, so that was just a bonus that flower looked like a heart. But the jar, I thought the jar idea was really cool. So they talked about when you get a new team member and you help them set some goals in their life for their business, to give them a jar, and you give them an empty jar actually. But as they set goals and accomplish goals, they can take whatever it is, their rocks or whatever, and then add them. And so they can visually see how many goals that they've reached. And it can be little goals, it can be big goals, there can be all different sizes. This one has different size rocks in it and stones. So I just thought it was a really cool, tangible thing. I use Post-its as well, but this is a really cool thing to be able to say, I want to give you this. I want to give you this jar. I want to give you some goals. And how can I help you get to that place? And as they reach their goals, they can fill up their jar. So I thought that was really cool. And I have a friend of mine who loves to make up words for boss that has to do with lady bosses or female bosses. So there's all the really cool hashtags down at the bottom. Bossum sauce was one of my favorites, so I just had to share that with you. All right, next slide. Okay, so the whole theme for me that weekend, and this is a photo that we took up on the mountain as we were leaving the first night, was brave. I mean, that has resonated in my mind so much, and that weekend really confirmed so much of that I need to choose to be brave and that the choice is mine. So I've been doing a lot of devotionals and studying on what does God say about being brave. And some of these are the different points that different speakers have came up with. And so stop letting people decide what's good for me. It's between me and God. I thought that was really awesome. Failure is where the power grows. And so it's important for me to be able to fail and to see and examine myself like Jennifer was talking about in order for me to grow out of that. How can my character grow from there? Don't let people derail me. So just because they say no, that's okay. It just means that they're not ready for it right now. So I don't have to derail and fall completely off track and fall into this place. A comfort zone might be pretty, but nothing grows there. Thinking from limited to abundant thinking. So thinking really big instead of just this little box that I would put myself in. I was challenged to do a getting to the heart of your why, which is found on Mission Driven, I believe, or maybe Freedom Revolution, but we'll get that information to you. But I was challenged to do that by my uplines, Severin and Danny, and that was it just helped me so clear, be able to see that I was thinking too small and helped me dig into my why. And then this is a paying ministry. For me, that's really important. Ministry is, and I want to be able to do what I love to do and get paid to do it. And so God has blessed me with that through Juice Plus. Okay, the next one. So we keep screaming connection calls, but I'm screaming connection calls, y'all. So I was challenged to do 10 connection calls in a month. And I believe I am now at 7 connection calls, and it's not even the middle of the month. And I have seen great benefits from this. It's building beliefs, it's creating vision, it builds relationships, it provides support, lends credibility, and it's duplicable, however you say that word. But it's true. I mean, I'm getting people on a call who I didn't think would necessarily do it. And I might be saying, hey, why don't you do me a favor and meet a friend? I've got to talk to you about Tower Garden, and I'm learning, so maybe you can get on a call with me. And they're jumping on the calls, and they're learning, I'm learning, and it's covering all of these things. And sometimes I get product out of it, and sometimes I don't. It just deepens my relationship. But I have to say that most of those calls I have gotten orders off of that were just kind of on the fence. They know my story, but to be able to hear from other people, and Marissa jumped on a call for me, and she's a sideline buddy, and she was able to help a girl that was struggling. It's just amazing. So if you're not doing connection calls, get out of your way and do it. It really is a game changer, and it will better and grow your business and your confidence. And it helps the people know that you're not just trying to sell them on something. You're really teaching them about help. And this is my community of people that I've collected, and you've got to meet them. So that's all I've got. Thanks for letting me share.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, I don't know what I did. Sorry. I am actually in the parking lot of my kids' football practice. So if you can't see me, I apologize. Some of my takeaways from the boot camp, and kind of to echo what Jennifer said, and Melissa, actually, you really never know what you're going to get out of going to a boot camp. And while some of the information shared is very similar, I'm a firm believer that you have to hear things several times in order for them to stick. And that one person who says something may say it exactly the way that you need to hear it for it to finally click. So some of my takeaways, it was one of them, and I really love Stephanie and her husband, Clayton. I just really loved their energy. It was just so magnetic. But they mentioned the immigrant mindset. And I'm originally from California, and so I definitely am very familiar with that, being so close to Mexico. And it's just that people here as Americans, we're very privileged. And I think a lot of times when things get rough, we just kind of bail out instead of digging deeper in. And so they said to have the immigrant mindset. Things are not going to be easy for us. And so it is imperative that instead of us kind of shying away from things that are tough, that we actually pull up our pants, dig in, and just go for it. A lot of what they said really keyed in on being clear. So having that clarity. And so basically just being real with yourself and clarifying. So one thing that I did was to define what I was looking for. And what I'm looking for is someone who is driven, mission focused, coachable, teachable, fun, family oriented, inspirational, someone who is positive, and who wants to blaze their own trail. And while I would love to have someone on my team that is very much like me, I definitely want someone who is multifaceted and someone who is completely different from me as well, because I am a firm believer that your team should be balanced and that you should complement each other. And so I think that while someone may be all of those things, they also bring their own experiences to the table, and their own weaknesses that I can definitely be in relationship with them to help them overcome. And that brings me to my next point. I can't remember who said it, but they basically said that a leader is someone who helps their team or people overcome obstacles. And as I mentioned before, it's not a matter of if you have obstacles, it's a matter of when. And so you really need to get good at overcoming obstacles, because they're going to come and you have to be prepared. And you actually have to learn to anticipate them so that you can overcome them. So the better you get at overcoming obstacles, I think the better that your business will be, because you'll already be prepared to deal with those when they come. And then I believe the last thing was that I wanted to mention was, I believe it was Dawn that mentioned it. She said you want to value people, show up, stay connected, and stay the course. And so then she broke those down. When you value people, you love yourself and you love others well. When you're showing up, where are you spending your time? So really look at where you're spending your time. And a good way for you to find out where you're spending your time is to look at where you're spending your money. Then stay connected. We're all linked together and everyone matters. And especially if you are of the Christian faith, that is definitely what our Father teaches, that everyone matters. And then to stay the course, you want to follow the system. And then what do you believe? So if you're really clear on what you believe and you follow the system, then you'll be able to stay the course and weather the storms when they do come. Because as I mentioned before, they do come. I had some other little tidbits, but I think a lot of people covered them, so I don't want to repeat them. But
thank you.
All in all, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying thank you. Y'all done there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, and thanks for coming on from the parking lot.
You're welcome.
Okay, Lynn.
Sorry. I'm on mute.
We can hear you now.
Okay. There we go. Okay, here we go. One of the things we talked about, this really pulls, I hope to pull together what everybody else has said. But in growing our teams, one of the things that we've often heard is get 3 people, and really the way everything is structured, you know, the HLP, you get 3 people, and then you go for the 2,000 plus, you add a team. But if you're getting 3 people who are also getting 3 people, that's what the shapes are on there, that is building your team with some depth and some width. And I have heard that a million times, but just felt it was so good to reiterate that. And really in growing that team, you need to help your team, help their team, help their team. So as you're going down, that you really are taking the information and the training down even 3 generations. And kind of how do you do that and how do you implement that? Wendy Vance had said, community creates miracles. And so really growing your community is part of that. The 3-way calls, which we've talked about, we all know what to do. Melissa did a great job reiterating that. Personal growth is another way that that has to happen. And you just help your team grow with all the good information that we come across, bringing them on here, bringing them on Facebook, these things we've already talked about. And we can go to the second one. And this is why. and we've talked about this already before too, but the clarity, get crystal clear of what you want. What do you want your business to look like? When do you want it to look like that? And what am I willing to do to get there? And what do you want it to look like? Is looking at your level, looking at your income, looking at what kind of club, looking at what kind of people you want, what kind of community, all those things. But if you're crystal clear about what it is you want, that helps you have the ability to know what to say yes to and know what to say no to. And that then you've got your crystal clear goals. And how do you do that? Going back to point one, that you go by growing your team. And then as you grow your team, then you go again for more people, adding teammates and that kind of thing. We've talked a bit about clarity, and I think September 10th on the Campbell team, Stephanie Getz is going to do a call on that, so we'll post that when it's closer to it if y'all want to listen to that, and they record those, but that'll probably be a good thing to listen to at some point too as a resource. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining tonight. We went a few minutes over, but we're going to wrap up now. And then if you want to stay on the call, we'll end the recording.